Hey everybody, it's Charles, your hobby hero, and I've got a treat for you today. We actually have some Pokemon cards back from CGC. Before we crack into these though, make sure you hit that subscribe button down in the bottom corner if you haven't already. I do appreciate it. Put out regular content about the hobbies that I love. Now with this particular box, I submitted these at the end of December, and strangely enough, I had submitted some with subgrades, some without subgrades. This was before they had added the delay to cards with subgrades. The cards with subgrades actually went to grading first, but I ended up with the cards, I believe, with subgrades first. So we've got, I already opened up the box here. I thought it was actually just packing materials that showed up. So we've got our cards in here today. And again, I believe these are the ones with the subgrades. It's been a while. I have not seen the grades because they actually have not loaded onto the site yet. So you're going to see the grades as I'm seeing the grades. And having said that, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so again, I'm not entirely sure which cards these are. Not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure based on the submission, it is the ones with the subgrades. But again, the grades actually have not loaded yet, so I literally have no idea what these are going to be. I will throw up prices on the screen as well on recent solds on these particular cards, if there are any, and as well as any information I have as far as why I submitted it, why I chose CGC over PSA. At this time, PSA was still open for submissions, so just as much information I can get. So with that, go ahead and get started. We'll try to conceal these the best I can. The first one is, okay, this is a Jolteon. This is from the Legendary Collection, and I really sent this one. I think this was the very first reverse holo from Legendary set that I had sent to CGC. I did originally want to send all these to PSA just because they do grade a little bit more flexibly on the 10 spot. Now I don't think that this is going to be a 10, but I did kind of want to gauge why CGC, or not why, but where CGC kind of graded these really tough to grade Legendary Collection holos. And, you know, at the time, worst case scenario, crack it, resend it to PSA. So having said that, first card of the CGC box return, big one here, is 8.5. Not too bad. We've got 9 centering, 8.5 surface, 8.5 corners, 9 edges, so a strong 8.5. I could see this easily cross grading to a PSA 9 with those grades that are on there. So overall, very nice. Big card here for sure. Very popular Pokemon, and honestly, more fair than I would have thought CGC would have been on the grade, just based on my history with their older cards. So next card up is, okay, this is Charizard Vivid Voltage promo. I submitted a couple of these. I sent some off to PSA where the centering wasn't quite right. The ones that had really strong centering and no other visible areas, I did try to send those to CGC to see if there was a way to get a PS or a CGC 10 out of that group there. So we got a 9. This is a straight quad 9. That is pretty brutal. The centering's not perfect on that one for sure. But surface and edges, I'll have to take a closer look at that one. That one may get resubmitted. That, I think we probably had a lot of borderline 9.5s on that, and I think they all rounded down on that particular one. All right, next one up. We've got another of the Vivid Voltage Charizard promos here, and a 9 again. Centering on this one got a 9.5. Surface 9, 8.5 on the corners, 9 on the edges. I guess, well, the corner, I see a little bit of whiting up here. But again, I'm sure if I get in there close enough, I'll see something. Alright, next one is going to be our Lugia from that same pre-release set. Same reason. Picked out the better ones to see if I could squeeze out a 10. 9 again. I'm given no gimmies here. 9, 5, 9, 9, 9, 5. So strong one there. Just missed again. Again, these are ones that I would be pretty confident we'll get 10s at PSA. Just trying to kind of test the waters and see if we can squeeze out any 10s at CGC, because I want a 10 from CGC. Alright, we've got, what's this, Charizard GX. Again, probably just selected this one. Centering was better than a lot of the GXs I had from that era. 8.5. Corners and edges both got 8.5. Which brings that down to an 8.5 due to the same subgrades. I'll take that one out as well. Getting beat up here pretty good so far. Okay, now these are for my personal collection. I'll probably keep the ones that came back out of this one. That's in the best shape, and then probably sell off my extra ones here. Again, cherry pick the best condition ones to go to CGC. To see if we can get a 10 from CGC. What do we got? 9. Almost quad 9s. 9, 9, 9, and 9, 5. Alright. Let's come up here. Okay, this one for the wife here. I don't think this one was particularly in great shape. I would be surprised if this one got a very high grade. But just like the artwork, got it. My wife loves Snorlax, so I wanted to get in a CGC slab, and we got an 8. Not surprising. Surface got an 8, corners got an 8.5, edges got an 8. Again, this one I did not think was in perfect shape, but again, just wanted kind of it slabbed so she had that particular card in a case for it. Alright, we got a Charizard VMAX. That's a good shaped Charizard here. We've got recently pulled the Shining Fates version of this card. We've got the rainbow version out of Champion's Path as well. I think they both came back at 9.5s. This one came back at a 9. Quad 9 again. Fairly uncommon to get quad 9s on a high quality card, I would think. I'm not going to say I'm a professional grader, but I would like to think that if I was trying to screen for 10s, that I wouldn't miss on all 4 categories. But it is what it is. We got a Reshiram and Charizard. Grade all Charizards right. Similar. Looked like the centering had a potential. We've got another 9. 8.5 on the centering. 9, 9, 9 everywhere else on Reshiram and Charizard GX. About halfway through this order here, we've got M Blastoise EX. Now this is another one that was submitted. This particular one, we actually, me and my buddy had pulled the same card. We had pulled another one on similar openings, and we had decided to grade it to see who got the better condition version. This was going to be our round 2 of that contest. We kind of had to stop doing that just because the grading turnaround times turned out to be so incredibly long. I don't know if he ever got his graded, but mine came back a 8.5. So 8.5 centering, surface, 9.9 corners and edges. We've got some angry graders at CGC right now. These are all pack fresh. Okay, so this is the lone magic card that is in this submission. This particular card was given to me by a close friend prior to him passing away. He had a terminal diagnosis, and this was a card that's never going to leave my collection, so I did want to get it slabbed. Had it for several years now. Not really worried about what the grade is on it, more so just want to make sure that it doesn't get shuffled away and get lost in the ages. So now it is protected, and an 8.5 grade on that one. Centering, surface, 8 corners, and 9 on the edges for that Hollow Arid Mesa. Alright, oh, special delivery Pikachu. This guy needs no introduction. I have 2 of these. One I sent to PSA, one I sent to CGC. Better centered one I sent to CGC, and quad 9s again. 99999. Okay. Alright, next one up. Okay, this is the Banned Sabrina's Gengar. I think I got a couple of these. I don't know how many I sent to CGC. I don't know how many I sent to PSA. I know I did want to keep the best condition one for my personal collection. We'll see when I get all of them back in. But this card is banned. This particular artwork has a cemetery in the background, which you can't really see super well. But in the English version, they just hollowed out the whole background so you can't see anything on it. So we have a 9 again. We have a 9, 9, 9.5, and 9 on the edges. So great condition card. Just not quite in that 9.5 range. Have we even gotten a 9.5 yet? I don't know. I think we've got a 9.5 yet. Brutal. Charizard V. A handful of these promos. The ones where the centering was off, I sent those off to PSA. The ones where the centering looked like it had potential for a 9, I sent here. You can already see my thumb's not covering up enough of it. And another 9 here. Almost quad 9s again. 9, 9, 9, 5, and 9. Alright, we've got Charizard. I submitted, this is just the regular one, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Regular old Charizard. I submitted a handful of these, both to PSA and to CGC to see if I could get, just having so many of them to see if I could get a perfect 10 through CGC or a 10 through that. At one point, I had told myself I was going to grade these Charizards and then try to trade / sell them up to a first edition base set Charizard. But honestly, with grading turnaround times being as long as they have been, I mean, you'd be looking at probably a decade before I'd be able to complete that. So probably see a bunch of these in future videos, which will probably just be getting sold off in whatever condition they come back into. And a 9 on this one as well. Centering a Surface 8.5 on a non-holographic card. 9 and 9 on the edges and corners. Okay. Alright, we got another one here. Same situation. 9 quad 9s on those as well. Got another one. 9, 5, 9, 9, 9. Keep in mind when I submitted these two, subgrades were I think were $5 at the time. So if you're doing the math in your head and you're like, why did this guy pay so much for subgrades on these commons or not so valuable cards? There was no extra turnaround time, and it was only a $5 upcharge at that point in time. So we've got Naughty Eyes Grimer, another banned artwork. His eyes appear to be looking up the skirt of this girl. They have corrected the eyes in the English versions. I've got a couple of these I picked up. Again, try to keep the highest grade for my personal collection and sell off the extras. So we got a 9, 9, 5, 8, 5, 9, and 9. We got 2 cards left in the submission. We've got M Charizard EX. Now these were originally submitted in the hopes that they would get the off-center cut. They are both, I think there are 2 in here. Both of them are pretty well shifted. I do not know if I got that designation or not. We'll check and see what their centering scores look like. So they just hammered the centering on the 8.5, surface 9, corners 9, edges 8.5. So I don't know if you can see how far off the centering is. Up there on that top, it almost touches in that top corner there. And then how thick it is on that side there. I don't know if this was the worst of the two. or not. You can see it easier on the back, how far it shifted on the back, but it did not get the off-center designation. Guessing it just missed that. Alright, last card. Probably another one. Nope. Nessa Trainer. Another one was submitted to CGC. I don't know if you can see the bottom here. The bottom is almost gone on that card. So again, hoping it got the off-center tag. And we got a... There we go. We did get it on this one. Centering, off-centered, surface 9, corners 9, edges 8.5. Now, I'll have to double check, but I did not think they gave the off-center designation to cards under a 9. I thought it had to be a 9 or better. I'll have to double check. I'll throw a note up here if I find out something different on that for you, but let's see what we've got here. Out of a submission of all pack fresh, for the most part, there's a few not. I mean, this wasn't pack fresh. Pack fresh cards, some holographic, some non-holographic. Those are probably the biggest surprise. We have here. We have 0 9.5s. Oh, wait. I have more cards. Sorry. I don't know that it changes how many 9.5s we have. I don't think we got a single one. If my memory serves. Alright. So yeah, 0 9.5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 9s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 8.5s, and 1 8. And again, just kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. The 8, I knew it was not going to be a super high grade. I just didn't. It was the cheapest option to get it slabbed. The Arid Mesa, I did not care about the grade either. It was just to get it slabbed. And then the Nessa, we knew it was going to get an off-center, but again, I don't know that I knew they could get an off-center 8.5. Alright, so after going through editing and rewatching it, I had to re-record the closing for the video. It really just had gotten to the point where I was kind of rambling and ranting about the submission. I wanted to make sure that it was informative and educational, and I expressed, kind of my disappointment at this particular submission. So I went back through all the cards and was going to get subgrades. So keep in mind, these were all cards that I pre-screened specifically to send to CGC for higher grades. So these are cards that I went through, I examined the surface, I examined the edges, the corners, and if there was something I thought would automatically disqualify it from being a 10 candidate, I did not submit it. So keep in mind, these are like the cream of the crop for this submission as far as condition of cards go. And going through a 20 card submission with subgrades, there was not a single card that came back as a 9.5. Not one. Even more telling than that, of all the subgrades on the 20 cards, so that's 80 total subgrades, out of those, there were only 7 9.5 subgrades throughout the whole submission. Only 7. Not a single 10 subgrade in that entire submission. And they have posted the grades for my next submissions, which is coming back in, and it was part of this one as well. And there's not a 9.5 in that submission either. Now keep in mind, these are our modern era cards for the most part. These are cards that are pack fresh, and again, these are cards that are pre-screened. And out of a 50 card submission, to not even have a single 9.5 to me is is too harsh. If that is what your grading scale is at that point, then I think you need to reevaluate the grading scale. Now, I've been a big proponent of CGC in the past, and I don't want to, point fingers and blame, and I know some grading is subjective, but a 50 card submission over 2 separate graders, I would assume, since they were graded on different days, since some were subgrades and some were not, to have that kind of conservative grading scale. I've said it before, I'll say it again, people want to win. And that doesn't mean getting one over on the company, but that does mean that they have their prized possessions, they have things that are important to them. They want that 10. They want that to be a reality, not a once in a million kind of thing. And if your standard grade is going to be a 9, it is going to be very, very hard to convince people to switch over their collections to you, because at the end of the day, there's very few people out there that are like, hey, I know mine's the best grade out there and the most accurate grade out there because it's this label, and be willing to sacrifice the fact that there's no 10s in their collection. So, obviously, I've got probably 300 modern cards, maybe more, out at CGC right now, already waiting to be graded. So I hope that this is something that they can get in front of. Obviously, that we don't have population numbers right now, so we can't really gauge what kind of percentage these things are coming out. There's a huge backlog of modern cards that are sitting there right now. They can't hope to be putting out just a mass number of 9s, or people are just going to stop submitting. Because it's just not worth it, other than just to get it encapsulated. And if you just want it encapsulated, there's a million other companies out there that'll do it for a fraction of the price. Because at the end of the day, a modern 9 is not worth much more than a raw version of that card. And that goes the same for PSA as well. Before you say, CGCs aren't worth the cost of grading, a PSA 9 is not worth much more than a modern raw either. The difference is PSA will give 10s and CGC will not. Now, I'm not saying make your 10s be hard to get, but again, from my standpoint, somebody who knows what they are looking for on these cards, and albeit I'm not a professional grader, I've said it before, I'll say it again, but I do know what they're looking for when they're grading these cards. And for me to be able to go through and cherry pick a submission and not even get a single 9.5 is very disheartening for me. It puts you in a really weird spot whenever you go to sell these cards, because these are all 10 candidates for PSA. So when they open back up, does it make sense to resubmit these cards before reselling? I've already got $500 invested in a 50 card submission. It puts people in a weird spot, and if you keep continually putting people in that spot, people are going to look elsewhere. If this is what is indicative of the submissions that are coming back, and I keep getting submissions that are in line with this, I can tell you right now, from a person who is looking at it from a financial standpoint, I will not continue to use CGC. It is just not worth it to me to spend money to put these encapsulated in a bunch of 9s. When I've got near mint plus cards that could easily get 10s with another company. So, if you disagree, if you've had a different experience, please let me know in the comment section below. If you really want to see the rant that I went on right after opening these and just kind of being in the moment, let me know. Maybe if there's enough interest, I'll throw that up there as well. Until next time, Hobby Hero, out.